divine in the form of Bhagavan Krishna. Akshutam Keshavam Ramanarayanam
Krishna-damodaram Vasudevam
Sridharam Madhavam Gopika Vallabham Janaki Nayakam Ramachandram Akshutam Keshavam Satyabham Madhavam Madhavam Sridharam Radhika Radhikam Indraya Mandiram Chetasa Sundaram Devaki Nandanam Nandajan Sandhave Akshutam Keshavam Ramanarayanam Krishna-damodaram Vasudevam Harim Vasudevam Harim Prem Guru Krishna Chandra Bhagavan ki jai. Today we are very pleased to have all of you join us, and it is a privilege to celebrate the birth anniversary of a very dear devotee of this mandir. I don't know if it's his birth anniversary or his wedding anniversary, but whichever it is, it's birth anniversary, right? But he looks very young to me. His hair never seems to get grey. Vikramji, let's give him a big hand, please. And all of his dear and near family and friends and associates have joined him here today. Amongst them is one of our most senior Pandits from the Caribbean, a gentleman who I've known since I was a little boy. And I guess in relation to him, I'm still a little boy. He's been in Canada. He could be identified as one of the first Caribbean Pandits to come to Canada and to be very involved in propagating such a Sanatana Dharma. And he's here with us. And before I can present my message today, I will ask our very learned Pandit Lalmanji to give his blessings to the family. एक दो शब्द बता दो, शिक्षा दे दो. Is it on?
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Namo Namaha Gajananam Bhutaganath Sevitam Kapita Jambu Phalachara Bhakshitam Umasutang Shokvinasakaranam Namami Bigane Shadapada Pankajam Ganapati Gauri Sati Parvati Kodhyam Charo Palamuhidiji Buddhivu Buddhi Vardhan Shri Ganeshaya Namah. Panditji, devotees, I'm very happy to be here again, not very often, in different occasions. And today is my little brother-in-law celebrating his Janamdin, his birthday. But before I go to that, I have noticed something in this mandir which is very good. Everyone stand in the line to go to Bhagwan Shankar, to the Shiv Puja. Is very, very good. Bhagwan Shankar, I give you a little illustration that when we go to temple, when we go to pray, we must relinquish all other thoughts and fix our mind upon the all-pervading. Many people go to puja, many people go to temple, but their mind is not there. Their mind sometimes is back home. And a very great example from the Mahashiva Puran. I'll give you this little story. One day Parvati asked Lord Shiva, there are hundreds and hundreds of people go to the Samudra, the river by the name of Pampasur. They go to take bath there, feel they're going to become pure and healthy and be blessed with the bath from the Samudra, from the river. So Parvati, seeing so many hundred people going, one day he asked Lord Shiva, he said, Lord Shiva, all those people who goes to the Pampasur to take bath, are they all sincere in their prayer? Are they having the true love of what they are going to do? Shiva said, look, I will not give you the answer, but you will have the answer yourself. Shiva said, look, while they are coming out, I will take my seat, but I will change my feature as a leopard man. And every one of them come. You ask him, if you are so pure, touch that leopard man, and he will regain his present look. Parvati stood up there and obscene and asking. You know, some of them, they are hacking and spitting at the leopard man. They went. Only 2 persons went and touched Bhagwan Shankar's feet. So Bhagwan Shankar said, Parvati, you see, if they had true love, they would have come and touched me. Only those 2 people had true bhakti. And when you go to God, you must go with love. Milahi nara gopati vinaya nuraga. Milahi nara gopati vinaya nuraga. Kya yoga japaj jnana viraga. Jnana viraga rama jnana viraga. Kya yoga japaj jnana viraga. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Raghupati Raghav Raja Ram Patita Pavan Sita Ram Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Rama Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Sita Rama. This Chopai was done by Bhagwan Shri Ram himself to his younger brother Lakshman. He said, whenever you go to do something, to go to God, you must go with love. You must go with that loyalty in your mind, and then the Lord will accept. Not only God, but if you want to do something for someone, you want to help somebody do something, do that with love and appreciation. And this is how we must go to God. I'm very happy to see how everyone went to the Lingam and they make their offering. Bhagavan Shankar is the re-originator of soul. Bhagavan Shankar is the one who is called, who is the giver of all happiness. Karunabhi. And when you come and you pray sincerely, then you will have the blessing. I hope and pray that Bhagavan Shankar will bless my brother-in-law who has celebrated his 60th birthday. Today Yesterday was the birthday, I think. But today, he relaxed to meet with God in this beautiful mandir. I have known Bikram, so a little baby. He was born before I get married to his sister. But the guy was threatening me. He had wanted my wedding to postpone and postpone. He became very ill, very sick. And we thought he would have passed away in the wedding. But no, God had wanted him to stay. And he had wanted my wedding to remove. No. But he gave cooperation. And the wedding went on the same date and the same time. So he grew up now from that age until he have reached 60 years. I do wish and pray that he will able to see 100 years. 100 years is human life according to our Shastra and Puran. 4 quarters. But because of our own karma, whether prarabdha or the present karma, previous karma, present karma, cause us to give up this mortal body. I do, and I ask the Lord to bless him and bless all his children, that he can able to see many more Janamdin, many more birthday. I must thank Panditji to get him to do this great worship here today for his Janamdin. And I know he is very active here most times at this temple. Along with him, he is fortunate to have all his sisters that are surviving. One more left in Guyana. She didn't travel. But there were 12 children in my in-laws' home. 4 sons and 8 daughters. The 2 sons have died and 2 sisters had passed away. So 8 of them are following each other. And most of them are here to join in the prayer to celebrate his birthday. May God bless them also, that they can celebrate their birthday also. So my dear Bhakta, what can I say? Nothing much. Myself and my wife, we wish you a very happy 60th birthday. And that 60th birthday follows my 60th anniversary next year. So it was a bless that you are still there since we have married. Pandit, thank you very much. I won't take up more time. So I just say thanks.
Thank you very much, Panditji. Let's give Panditji a very big hand, please. It is always a privilege to listen to such wisdom coming in such a simple form from someone who has the knowledge of the ages and of the scriptures and takes it so calmly and presents it so simply. Once again, we're very privileged to have Panditji with us. Let's give him a big hand, please. Our message today will be taken from the Srimad Bhagavad Gita, from chapter 15. A question to ask. As we listen to the sound of sitar, Bidkalasi, Tal. For those of us who are listening, how many of you felt a tingling in your body when the music was playing? Like, anybody? Tingling? Did you feel the tingling when the tabla started, or was it when the sitar was playing? Now I want you to listen again. Sitar, bajao. Close your eyes and focus your ears upon the sound. Now the question again. For those of you who are listening, and note I preface my question with those of you who are listening, because if you're listening, if you're not listening, you cannot answer this question. Now, the question about you were only listening if you were here. But then all of you say, Panditji, I'm here. But are you here? Is the mind here? Because if the mind is here, it will not hear the sound, it will listen to the sound. But if the mind is not here, it's hearing sound, but it's not listening. So for those who are listening, they were here, and they would have felt a tingling when the sitar string starts to. Now, how many people felt that? Don't be shy, put your hands up. Good. Now, that tells me the rest of you are not here. Secondly, when the rhythm started, now together please. Clap your hands. Now notice, everybody was clapping. You were not clapping. Why is that so? Why were you not clapping? You were clapping. Why is that? Anybody? You're paying attention because you heard the rhythm. There's a certain structure to the rhythm. Now, double. Single. Now, we started off with a double rhythm and then we moved into a single rhythm, and some of you were caught, didn't know what to do, and some of you naturally listened and then you changed your clapping. You are using your hearing capability to its great potential. The point of this little analogy, or this little exercise, is to discuss today this body. What is this body? Now, this is my glass. This is my book. This is my box. These are my eyes. This is my nose. These are my arms. Question, then who am I? Am I this body? Obviously, parts of the body I claim. I said these eyes are mine, these nose are mine, these hands are mine. That means I must be something other than this body, because I am taking possession of this body. That means the body and I are separate. So we want to talk about this body today and ask the question, what controls the body? Now remember, what caused you to clap? What caused you to clap? Give the gentleman a big hand, please. The hearing sense, by hearing, you heard the rhythm and your body responded to what you heard. Now, what happens when you smell good food? What happens to the body? Does it start dancing? But it's responding. The gastric juices in the body actually starts doing things. If you would have an empty stomach and to go and stand by a kitchen area where food is being cooked and you're enjoying all the sweet fragrance, you can actually get an ulcer by just, and you keep swallowing all the time and saliva going and consuming the walls of your stomach because there's nothing inside. But the body is responding to what you smell. The body is responding to what you hear. How does the body respond to what we see? I see something I don't like. Right away, we don't have to tell all the facial muscles to do anything. Automatically, they just make ourselves look ugly. Have you ever thought about that? And then you see something that you like. What happens? Automatically, the face makes, wow. It seems like the face and all the muscles are well trained to respond to the eyes, the ears, the nose, the touch. We feel something soft. Immediately, the internal body is responding. But there is another fellow who is not engaged so far. We've talked about these senses and the body. What's the third party that is supposed to be involved here? What's that? Do we have one? So the mind has a place. So now where is he, by the way? Where is the mind located? Anybody? If you have one, you should know where it is. It's in the body. So when the body is burnt up, the mind is gone. Where is the mind? Let me ask some of our young students, where do you think the mind is? I mean, should I pressure Dhanesh for an answer? Dhanesh, where do you think the mind is, from a locale? Wherever your focus is. Give him a big hand. Anil, where do you think the mind is? He's trying to find his. Give him a big hand, folks. Vana, where do you think our mind is? Locale. Where is it located?
Where the soul is.
Where the soul is? Give her a big hand. Anybody else want to venture?
Mental third eye.
The mental third eye. Okay, give him a big hand. I want you to know, I don't know the answer. I'm hoping you can help me. But wherever that mind is physically located, we do know it exists. And now I talked about the senses, the 5 sense organs, and the physical being called the body, and how the body responds through the senses to external stimuli. That is, what we see, the sight, the organ of seeing, transmits information, the body reacts. But then, when the body reacts, the body can react simultaneously to looking, but does the mind intervene in the reaction? Now, I want you to think of this carefully. You're standing with your best friend, and they're about to show you this cake that they made, that they are so proud of. They think it's the best thing they've done all of their lives. And they show you the cake, and when you look at it, the thing looks terrible. Now, your natural response will be, ugh. But your friend is standing right there. What happens? Oh, it looks very nice. Who intervened there? Who intervened? Who controlled the body, the natural reaction? Right. The mind said, hold on a minute, I can't do that. It isn't going to be appropriate. So the mind intervenes, the body reacts naturally. Now, if the mind intervenes, I don't care, it's ugly. The mind intervenes and says, boy, that is a terrible cake. You're happy with that? The mind can do that too, by the way. But what overshadows the mind? What signals the mind? By the way, this is not a good thing to do. Although it's the truth, it's an ugly cake, it's not the right thing to say that right now. What does that? Say that again? The conscience. Give it a big hand. Our conscience. Anybody else? Our conscience. Can we call it our intellect or wisdom? That it's not the right thing to do right now. Maybe afterwards we can have a little chat with this person and says, maybe the next time you make it, you should put some strawberries on top. and so on and so on. But our intellect and our divine wisdom influences the mind, but also our negativity can influence the mind. The positive side of us can say, oh no, this is not the right thing. Our negative side says, tell her anyway, who cares? I started out by saying I want to talk about the body. In life, we spend 90% of our time looking after our body. We spend very little time looking after our eyes, looking after our ears, looking after our nose, or the tips of our finger other than the nails. We take care of this body, we want it to look good, we want a face. The face gets the most attention, do you agree? There is more put on the face than anywhere else. And you take the eyes away, what will happen to that face? You take the ears away, what will happen to that face? You take the nose away, what will happen to that face? You take the mouth away, what will happen to that face? But yet, we only look at the ears when it hurts. The eyes when there's dust inside. The nose when it's clogged up. But yet, it is what we use the most. My point is today that God has given us this human form. But this body, which is made of 5 elements, is of no value without the 5 senses. That is the sense of seeing, smelling, hearing, tasting, and touching. So that means we must then pay more attention to these senses. Bhagavan Krishna in chapter 15, verse 9, explains to us the significance or the value of paying attention to these 5 organs. Shivaranjani. Krishnaya Vasudevaya Govindaya Namo Namah. Bolo Sri Krishnaya Vasudevaya Govindaya Namo Namah. Kshetram Chakshuswarasnam Sarasanam Dramamevacha Adishthayamanashtayam Nishyanu Pasevate. Sri Krishnaya Vasudevaya Govindaya Namo Namah. He said there is a presiding, controlling factor over the eyes, the ears, the touch, the taste, and the smell, and also the mind. All of these things are channels that channels information to the mind, but yet there is a presiding factor that manages all of them, or should manage all of them. If we do not allow the presiding factor to preside, then the eyes take over, the ears take over, the nose take over, and the mind is totally lost, out of control. Now, does this sound practical? Can our eyes take over our lives? Can you see them stepping out and say, hold on now, I'm in control here, right? Can our ears take over? How can our eyes and ears take over our lives? There are those who hear so much. They're hearing all day. And they're hearing all the wrong things. And the mind gets caught up with all the wrong things, and all they're doing is thinking about the wrong things all day. And then the eyes sees only the wrong things. And the mind gets caught up with that. But by the way, the eye can see good things, and the mind can get caught up with that. And the ears can hear good things and get caught up with that. But getting caught up with good things doesn't destroy our lives. But when you get caught up with bad things, but then what is the presiding factor? The presiding factor is that not the mind, it is that which is above the mind. This is our divine wisdom. And that divine wisdom, do we all have it? Or is it a special thing we get? What do you think? Does everybody have the potential for divine wisdom? Everybody says yes, or is there any no's? Let's have a debate, come on. Are you all agreeing? If you're agreeing, say yes. Some of you are saying yes. That means there is a presiding element, and that element is what is called not the intellect, but wisdom. Now we must understand there is this thing called knowledge, there is this thing called intellect, and then there is a thing called wisdom. Bhagavan Krishna says, I am the intellect of the intellectual. Bhagavan Krishna says, I am the intellect of the intellectual. Anil is an intellectual. Meaning is intelligent, but Krishna says, I am the intellect of that intellectual. He says, I am that what makes him the intellect who can be declared as an intellectual. Thus, this presiding deity that we call our basic wisdom, knowledge, the world is full of people who are knowledgeable. They've read all the books, they've gone all to the right places, they understand philosophy, they know who's right and they know who's wrong. It's just that they know. That's knowledge to know. Then there is the intellect, who have taken what they know and can rise to highest grade and utilize that to manipulate the world and to present something in a meaningful manner. Then there is the wise person. Now there could be a combination of a wise, intellectual, knowledgeable person. Knowledgeable, intellectual, wise person. But there could be a knowledgeable person who has no intellect and is unwise. There could be a knowledgeable person who's intellectual but very, very unwise. Are we getting the point? The point is, knowledge doesn't make you wise. Knowledge doesn't make you an intellectual. Knowledge is knowledge. But one has to grow to rise above the knowledge, to become an intellect, and beyond that, to act wise. Now here comes a fourth factor. I have no knowledge, I am not an intellect, but I have lots of wisdom. I have no knowledge, I am not an intellect, but I have lots of wisdom. All of our forefathers who came, who were what colonial people, for those who were colonials, did not have academic knowledge. They couldn't hardly read or write. They would be called ignorant. They could not be called intellectuals because they didn't go to school. But were they wise? Did they believe in God? Did they understand the value of God in their life? As such, without the knowledge and without being an intellect, they were genuinely good people. Now someone said, Panditji, that means we shouldn't go to school and we shouldn't get educated? No, that's not what it means. It means if you have gone to school and you got educated, don't lose your wisdom. Because you had that before you went to school and before you got educated. The world is full of people who are educated, who are intellectual, and who have lost their wisdom. Now what does this got to do with the body? Wise people, educated people, we live in a very, very educated world. You can get any information you want. Just go on your cell phone and go Wikipedia and you can find out anything you want. We all know how important it is to nurture these senses because all of the science tells us, but yet the world of the intellectual and the knowledgeable does not do it. We are all victims of our own lack of paying attention, using the wisdom that God has given us, that the ears are important, the eyes are important, the nose are important, and to mante them, meaning revere them and take care of them. Now, does that mean I must wash my ears every day? I must put eye water in my eyes and brush my teeth every day? Yeah. But more than that, I must understand that they have a value and use them what it was intended for. This morning, as I was coming to the mandir, well, not to the mandir, I had an early morning function to do before coming to the mandir. So I had my phone. I got one of these new fandangle phones. I have it in my car, and I turn on some music. And I turn up the music, and I was going beyond, and a sign came up and says, warning, using this device at this volume will damage your ears. I said, wow. Immediately I turned it down. Right. Now, do you know how many of our young people use that device and it's blowing their eardrums, but no flashing signals coming up to tell them to do that? So they're doing it. My point is, in the world that we live in, academically so endowed and all the information, yet we act ignorant when it comes to our body. And because of this, the cost of healthcare in the Western world can feed half of the world. The cost of healthcare in the Western world can feed the other half of the world, or at least 4 billion people. Just the cost of our healthcare. And our healthcare costs 80% of it can be avoided by just paying attention to the human body. By the way, this is not a medical class. It was not a hygiene class, nor a health program. It is Satya Sanatana Dharma. Our scriptures tells us, pay attention to the human body. It is the gift. Bariye bhagya manushatana pava. Bariye bhagya manushatana pava. Sura duralabha sab grantana gava. Sadhana dhamma moksha karvara. Aine jehi paraloka tavara. Sant Goswami Tulsidas in the Ramcharitmanas reminds us that this human body has one other major objective. Sadhana dhamma moksha karadvara. It is the vehicle that delivers at the doorway towards ultimate realization of God. And for that reason also, we must not only look nice body, feel nice body, nurture and cream the body, but then respect all the gifts that came with the body. And we call them indriyas, divine entities. We must see our eyes as divine, our ears as divine, not from the appearance, but for the privilege they grant unto us in existing in this human world. Sri Krishnaya Vasudevaya Govindaya Namo Namah. Now what will be our takeaway today from this message? Anybody? What's your takeaway? Vic, what are you taking away today? Who said that? Yes? Listen to your body. Give her a big hand, please. Vic, what are you taking away?
Your awareness of the world. And if you listen enough, you pay attention enough, 90% of your health problems.
Give her a big hand. Now I know all of the elders here know this already because they have, by virtue of experience, come to realize that they must do that. And when we get older, we pay more attention not to the appearance of the body, but the welfare of the body. When we are young, we pay no attention to the welfare, we pay attention to the appearance. We need to switch that. When we are young, we need to pay attention to the welfare of the body, so that when we get old, we can enjoy its appearance. But if we don't pay attention to it when we are young, we'll be very disappointed with the appearance when we get very old. So the message is for all, but most important for our young people. to understand the value of the gifts to be received. Do not abuse them. Do not misuse them. For in so doing, you stand to pay a very dear price later on in life. Sri Krishnaya Vasudevaya Govindaya Namo Namah. Who amongst us is here in Ram Mandir for the first time? Kaun pehle baar aaye hai? Who's here for the first time? Put your hands up, please. 1, 2. Just 2 people? Give them a wonderful round of applause, please. We welcome you and invite you to join us as often as you can. This mandir is open 7 days a week, 15 hours a day, and you can come at any time. Who's visiting from the United States? And maybe Guyana or Trinidad? Put your hands up, please. Let's give these visitors a big hand, please. We welcome you to Canada, the most wonderful country to live in. You should move to Canada. And we thank all of you for being here today. Those of you who have come at the invitation of Vikram, I know that you love him and that's why you're here. And we're happy to have all of you. We want to let you know that the Ram Mandir, you can be at the Ram Mandir every Sunday morning, wherever you are in the world. You can join us by internet. Every morning, Canadian time at 11 a.m., you can join us live on the internet, www.rammandir.ca, and you'll be here for 1 hour. And I've been informed today by Jaideep that we are going to start a radio program soon, launch, whereby you can be on radio. If it works out, it'll be 7 days, 24 hours a day. That we'll have a radio program originating not from here, but originating anywhere in the world, but will be under the auspices of Ram Mandir. We are hoping to get people in different parts of the country to take different sections of the program. And then it says Ram Mandir presents in Australia. Ram Mandir presents in Zimbabwe. Ram Mandir presents in Guyana. So the presenters will be in those countries, but all be on the internet worldwide, and it'll be a program of Ram Mandir. If you know anyone who's interested in joining this radio program and getting involved, please let us know. We want to make this an international event whereby we'll share music, thoughts, ideas and philosophies of Satya Sanatana Dharma worldwide, but coming from all over the world. Prem Sri Krishna Chandra Bhagavan ki jai. We want to wish happy birthday to Karina. Karina, where are you? There she is. Stand up, Karina, please. Now, I give special attention to Karina, not only today, but at all times. Karina has a unique portfolio. She started out in our Bal Bihar program, and now she's one of the senior teachers in the program. She continues to impart knowledge to those who need to know. Let's give her a big hand, please. We want to celebrate many more birthdays of her because we need more Karinas in the world, because we need more teachers in the world. Everybody knows, but we need those who are willing to teach others what they know. Who else is celebrating birthday today? My wife is celebrating birthday today. Oh no, your wife, you mean? Okay, sorry. Okay. And we want to wish those who are celebrating their birthday the happiest of birthday and wedding anniversary too. Give them a big hand, please. Now let's take a moment to do a bit of an analysis. Now everybody's seated comfortably, calm, relaxed. It's early in the morning hours. You're not hungry too much because lunch hasn't dawned yet. And you come to the mandir, relax. Now, you didn't have to figure out what clothes to wear this morning. I mean, if you should dress up or not, did you? Don't put your hands up, please. But just imagine if Vikram had this big gala at one of the big banquet halls. You'll be planning for it for weeks. The ladies will have to go shopping. And then they will have to tell the men what to wear. This morning, they didn't tell anybody what to wear. They just put on what they had and said, let's go, mandir. Of course, some of the ladies did, go full extent. But then they're planning the organizing and the food and the catering and all of that. By the time Vikram would finish, he'd be grey, although he's grey. And then at the end of the day, he'll get a bill. And then he says, it cost me that much to celebrate my birthday. Now, and by the way, everybody will dance up and there'll be a lot of spirit in the air. And I don't mean the kind of spirit we have in this air right now. And then everybody will go home tired, and next morning they'll stay up till 3 in the morning, and then the next morning they'll wake up and say, what happened last night? And do you know 90% of the people choose to do that, then come and sit down quietly like this and invite their friends to eat some simple vegetarian food? And by the way, you know those galas that they have? I must tell you a secret. I've been invited to quite a few of them. And the ones I attend, they always tell me, Panditji, we'll prepare, there are special meals for you. Some of them I eat bread and pepper. Because that's the best thing I could eat on that day. Because anything that they gave you, this specially catered meal that they paid about $35 to $50 for, doesn't have any taste. And it's a little bit that they throw, it's a vegetarian, throw it together and just snap it up and give it to him, right? That's it. And all the other people are savoring all kinds of bones and beans and whatnot, all of this, right? So as such, we must think carefully. What is celebration? Celebration is giving, showing appreciation to God. If we cannot show appreciation to God in celebration, then we are worse than those who live in the forest. And yet we spend so much money and make such activities, and this is so prevalent in weddings these days. I am a Pandit and I'm sorry, some of you will never ask me to do your wedding because I will criticize you tremendously from the day you come. Because they come to the Pandit and say, Panditji, we booked the hall, the time is 3 o'clock and the wedding will have to take an hour. What do you think? You're asking me what I think? Is it a good day? Of course it's not a good day, but you booked a hall already. Why are you asking me that? Is it a good time? No, it's not a good time, but you booked the time already. Can I change that? So we come to the Pandit and said, Pandit, be there 1 hour, do the wedding. Then I'd ask him, are you having a reception? Yes. How long is that? Oh, Pandit, whole night. And the wedding, jaldi, 1 hour, 1 hour and a half. So where's the mockery? Who are we fooling? And we say we're having a wedding. So Vikram, my congratulations to him. He's been planning this 2 years ago, since before his previous birthday. Give him a big hand. And I want you to know that you can celebrate your birthday, your anniversary, reverence to your departed relatives, anything, or just thank you to God anytime at Ram Mandir. And there's no set fee for you to do this. The Pandit doesn't have a particular dakshina. And there are no specific, you have to contribute to the Priti Bhojan, whatever it is that you want. They will cater it for you. And you come dressed up, looking nice, smiling, and everything will be ready. Wow. And it's very, very reasonable. Now, is that a good marketing pitch? Did I do a good job? Good. So, we once again want to thank Vikram because he always brings new faces. I see my dear brother Bal, Rampasad is here. Bal, where are you? Give him a big hand, please. He's coming from, he lives in the middle of the city, but he used to go to a mandir way down on the other end, that side. I don't know why. And then Basil Punet is here. Basil, where are you? Another one from the East End. I don't know why they're struggling to stay there in the East End. Come to the West. Didn't you hear that? People say, go West, young man, go West. Right? There are mandirs in the West also. A lot of people don't understand that. All people living in Scarborough do not know that there's a mandir in the West End. They think only mandirs in Scarborough. And they have 150 little mandirs in Scarborough. Right, Panditji? About 150, right? So please invite some of your friends from the East End to come to the West. This is a new world. We are opening up the West here, right? And come out and join us and enjoy us. Those of you who are here for the first time, I would like the privilege of having bhojan with you. So those of you who you're our special guest today, there you will notice when you go to the banquet hall, there's a table that says reserved for special guests. Step over there and we'll have lunch together. Vikram, you're welcome too. And your wife, since it's their birthday, right? So let's give them all a big hand, please. It is wonderful to leave with smiles on our faces. Regardless of what happens in our lives, the smile is important. I just noticed a very, very dear and learned individual, Uncle George, the tallest man in this building. Please stand up, Uncle George. Stand up. Stand up, please. Uto. Stand up, please. It's so we can see how tall you are. Let's give him a big hand, please. Uncle George, please stand. Please stand. I want you all to know about Uncle George. I call him Uncle George because he's called Uncle George everywhere. He's everybody's Uncle George. When the Ram Mandir started, when we were in a little unit, many years ago, when we started the mandir, there was no carpet on the floor. We didn't have under padding. So we used to spread these white sheets and sit on this hard concrete. You can imagine how comfortable that was. Well, Uncle George came one day and he says, no problem, carpet and underpadding. There it was. Give him a big hand, please. And he continues to do this wherever he goes. Not only give carpet and underpadding, but he continues to give his time and effort to such a Sanatan Dharma. Those of you who brought prasad, please come forward. We shall offer bhog.